So, hello and welcome back to my next guest per expert interview. And again, this is Antia Boyd, founder, a co-founder of the Find the One Summit and creator of the Find the Right Man programs. And today I'm coming to you interviewing Nathalie Chapron, the French stylist extraordinaire. So I'm really excited to have you today, Nathalie.
Thank you so much, Auntie. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I think it's so important. Appearance, right? I have so many women come to me all the time, and I can give them the first hint, like, well, it's one, it's your appearance, right? So, let's cover that. So tell us more about like why appearance is so important in dating, and also like what was your own journey around appearance and where you discovered that it is really significant on your journey to finding the right partner.
Yeah, thank you so much. So why is appearance so important in dating? I mean, it's kind of cliche and it's so obvious, but I'm going to say it again. First appearance matters really in any area of our life, but in dating specifically, what happens is, of course, we know that men are very visual. So if you're a woman and you're looking for a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Men are very visual and they make decisions very quickly. And we do the same thing with them too. I mean, we see a man and very quickly we know, okay, whether or not we're attracted to him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Pretty fast. And then of course we have to get to know him and make sure that there's compatibility and all that stuff. But it's very quickly that we make those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hardwired in our brain. It happens for all of us all the time in all kinds of circumstances, and especially in dating, because you're making a decision. And I think your listeners, Antia, are really looking for that one person that they want to be with. This isn't about dating everywhere, but it's about like finding the one person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life.
Correct.
So making that first impression is so important because it's very hard to overcome a bad first impression. Now, it's not impossible. If you given the chance and you have several meetings after that, you can overcome a bad first impression. But why? Why would you have to put yourself at, make it harder for yourself than it actually is, right?
Right, exactly.
Right. I mean, it's pretty easy. So making that first impression is really important. But the thing is that a lot of women I talk to are really not, they're afraid of like having to be somebody that they're not in order to attract the right guy.
Yeah.
Like to act or to like dress a certain way to be more attractive and to be someone that they're not. But the problem with that is that, yeah, they might find some men that are attracted to them and maybe want to have sex with them, but the deeper resonance is in there. And so what's really important is not just to make a first impression, but to show up as you. The deeper, the most profound, the most sacred, the most divine part of you. It's like your essence, your inner essence, translated in what you're actually wearing, in your outfits, and the colors that you choose, and the style that you choose, so that your inner beauty is reflected on the outside. And so with this deep amount of alignment and congruence, what happens is the right man, who is the right match for you, that will vibrate with you on such a deep level, will recognize and will see you and will find you attractive because you're showing up as you.
Yes.
And that's a really big one.
It's really so true. I remember when I had my VIP day with you and I got my colors done and I saw that I was always resisting green. That was my thing, but I have green in my eyes, right? So it's really interesting, like how deep the journey goes. It's just about like colors and clothes, right? But yet I was standing and crying when I saw my palette because I really felt seen. I felt like seen on such a level that nobody else has ever seen me. I was always able to hide, right? And my hot pinks that are not even like close in my palette, right?
Right. No, I mean, and we all do it. We all do it because why? Because it's safer that way. Because historically, what I find in my journey too, and I'm happy to tell you a little bit more about my story.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, but with a lot of my clients and for myself too, it hasn't felt safe to shine. It hasn't felt safe to be visible on such a deep level. And when we were seen, perhaps we were criticized or hurt or bullied or assaulted or molested, or the list goes on, right? And so there's a part of us as women that while we want to be visible and we want to be seen by the one, we want to find that one.
Yes.
At the same time, we're afraid because if we are truly seen for who we are, we're afraid we're going to get hurt. Yeah. And so there's this push-pull of like, we want it, and then, oh, but no, we don't. Oh, we want it, but no, we don't, right? And so it's like, and it's like that with everything in our lives. It's just this, it's like we're trying to open the door, but we have a foot on the bottom. So we're like, right?
Right,
totally. And that doesn't work very well.
Yeah, and that's what I really see with my women. They have this confusion inside of them, and I've really seen, if you've been at 3 of our partner attraction workshops, right? You're a trusted fashion advisor, for all of our singles in the program, because, I feel like I do the inner work where, they shift and they get really aligned harmoniously. And I feel like you beautifully support, the women, but the men, we had some men there
yes.
significant shifts, right? So to really like get supported, I feel like it's a support, like it supports more the inner, to, that how the inner, so the outer, right? And like you said, people are really visual. So I really feel about that, and you work with over 30,000 colors, right? So you'll find like, look at this, right? This is like amazing. Oh my God, it's like a candy store.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's amazing, right? It's like, it's so many colors, because we are, we're made of pigments and we're so different, each of us. And so we need a lot of precision in order to find the exact perfect ones that are good for you.
So how was your personal journey, Nathalie? Like, how did you find, and how did you become really so convinced and convicted that this is really so significant and such an important part in really everybody's life who wants to become congruent and harmonious inside and outside of themselves?
Thank you, Antia. Yeah, my journey. So it's been so interesting. I mean, if you told me 10 years ago that here I would be, I would not believe you. So just a little background. So first of all, my life is amazing now. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. I mean, I thank the goddess every day, for my life. I'm married to an amazing man who's such a feminist. We were having this amazing conversation today, and he's such a feminist. I'm like, oh my God, I'm married a feminist. That's awesome. He's so not threatened by powerful women. He wants women to be in their power.
Right.
And so he's so supportive of my work and what I'm doing. He's taking care of our 4-year-old. We have a 4-year-old son, Theo, and he's just, my husband is amazing. So I have this beautiful family that we're raising. We're talking about having another baby next year. I know, so exciting. And my business, my life is amazing. I mean, I get to do interviews. I get to work with people like you, Antia, and your tribe. I mean, you gather an amazing, beautiful people, so conscious and heart open, and it's such a joy. And I get to do this all over the world. I get to go to France and Europe and Costa Rica and travel everywhere and just talk and share my message and change lives. And financially too, it's really cool now because I make more in one day than I used to make working an entire month as a high-end, massage therapist in a high-end spa on the California coast. Wow. I mean, right? So it's like what? It's so good. It's so good. My life is so good. But as you know, you've heard my story before, but it wasn't always this way for me. I was struggling in all areas of my life, frankly. Mm-hmm. I was going from one relationship to the next. And while I was with different people, I felt like I kept attracting the wrong kind of, it was like the same pattern again and again and again. Do you know that, what I'm talking about?
Oh, like, yeah, believe me.
This is a different person, but what? Seems like the same relationship over and over and over again. And I kept, I was so unhappy and I desperately wanted a family. And I was becoming increasingly concerned because I was in my, mid-30s, late 30s, and still hadn't found that one man. And I knew I wanted to be a mom. I knew I wanted a family. So my clock was ticking, frankly. And I was really kind of like, is this going to ever happen for me?
Yeah.
And it was so painful. I remember just yearning for that one man that I would be with and have my family. And that's all I could think about. That's all I wanted. I was like an obsessed woman. Like, will I ever find me? And my business too, in my career, I was like spinning my wheels. I was like struggling, going from one course to the next, trying to make it happen. And at the time I was coaching, and holistic health. That's my background. And I just kept spinning my wheels. Nothing was really going my way.
Mm-hmm.
And thing got so bad at one point. I remember I was just like, I wanted to give up. I honestly wanted to give up. I was like, maybe it won't happen for me. Maybe I won't find the man. Maybe I'll never be financially successful. And I just have to resign myself to a life of struggle and mediocrity, but
Yeah.
it was so painful. And so many nights I just would cry myself to sleep, just alone and just so sad. And then one day something really cool happened. I was in a training to learn how to become a speaker. And we did an exercise where we were because image is so important in all areas of our life. They said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do an assessment on your image. You're going to stand up in front of 3 of your peers in the program, and they will tell you, based on your image, how much they think you're worth per hour.
Mm-hmm.
So that was scary, as you can imagine, but I stood up and they assessed me and the results came in. And they said, well, based on your appearance, we think you're worth $25 to $35 an hour. Now, in and of itself, for someone who's doing an admin clerical job, that's great. That's good. But for me, as a coach already, my rate at that time, I was already charging $100 to $150 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
This was a few years ago. So there was a huge disconnect between my perceived value, how much people thought I was worth, and what I was asking people to pay me.
Yeah.
And so no wonder my life was, not happening because the disconnect was so huge.
Right.
And what I realized in that moment is it wasn't even that I wasn't dressed professionally. I was wearing a brown linen skirt suit, very professional. I had flats on, which I could have had heels, but I mean, come on, like that doesn't, but what happened was I wasn't dressed in my essence. Mm-hmm. And it was like I hadn't claimed my power as the queen.
Yes.
And I was hiding.
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized in that moment, I was like, there's nothing else I can do in my life that's going to make a difference until I step into my queendom, into my queen self, mm-hmm. on my throne, and align my inner and outer beauty, right? So my essence is actually mirrored on the outside. Mm-hmm. So I met these 2 people at the training who there was something about them, and I was like, okay, what is it? I want what you got. They're so magnetic, confident, powerful, mm-hmm. successful, like, in love. I was like, what are you 2 doing? And so they said, well, we worked with this woman, and she did our colors, she did our style, she took us shopping. They did a whole VIP day with her, and I was like, this is my next step. I didn't have the money at the time. I put it on a credit card, spent, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but I just knew. I was like, this is my next step. So I did the work with her. And in the moment when I remember receiving the palette, like you were talking about, Antia, being seen at such a deep level, I felt like all this power came back to me. All this power came back to me. And now I felt deeply aligned within myself and so anchored in my feminine and in my queen that it was like a shift of my energetic, how I would approach the world. Instead of going out and striving and doing and seeking and, grasping for things, it was like I could just be seated in who I am and literally let things come to me. And it was like so deeply anchored in my feminine. And so not only was I looking more amazing, like in all my colors and my styles, but energetically, what happened was now all of a sudden people could see me, and all of a sudden I started to get speaking engagements, referrals, like everything shifted in my business. And very shortly after that, that's when I met my husband.
Wow. What is,
you know.
you know?
And you know the story. I'm going to share this for people listening because they don't know this. So I knew that, like, in order for me to attract my king, which is what I wanted, I had to become the queen. There was
Yeah.
no other way. If I'm a princess, I'm not attracting a king. I'm
Mm-hmm.
attracting a prince, and I was not interested in that.
Right.
I stepped it up. I was like, I want to be my queen. I
Mm-hmm.
showed up, and literally I tried it. My husband is such a king archetype. King, like
Totally.
such a king.
Totally. Right.
You know. And actually, you know, the funny thing is, and I found that out later, but he literally comes from an ancient royal French bloodline, the Plantagenet kings. Like, he's literally
Wow.
has royal blood in him. So
Wow.
I know.
So see
So
what happened. Like you just like really, and also what I love about your story was you just saw the two women and you were just like, there was just something there. And I love that you didn't even know what it was, but you just like followed your feminine intuition, right? That's what so many of my women like don't do that, really struggle with that. But really, you trusted yourself. I mean, to invest thousands and thousands of dollars in something that just you just knew was your right step, but there's nothing really like tangible there until you know, because you didn't know that all the speaking gigs and all the
no, I didn't
would
know.
come out of this, right? So
No.
say a little bit more about that. Like, how did you know that this was like the next step for you to be in your feminine flow and just trust yourself?
That's such a good question, you know, and I think that because I had done so many other things that were like exterior around learning how to say the right things and how to have the right format and when I'm speaking and like how to like, you know, like all this stuff was like outer game in a way. And it was all great stuff. I'm glad I have all the tools, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
I realized it's like it was about me being more of me. So it was about my presence and
Mm-hmm.
my beingness,
Mm-hmm.
really like giving myself the gift of knowing myself more deeply,
Yeah.
and not just knowing myself more deeply, but I didn't know this at the time. This happened as I was receiving the work and afterwards. So much of our time as women, unfortunately, we spend wishing that we look differently than we do. You know, we want, you know, if we have dark hair, maybe we want blonde hair. We have blonde hair, we want dark hair. If we have round features, we want angular features. Or if we're curvy, we want to be thin. Or, you know what I mean? We're always
Well, if you
wanting.
have flat hair, we want curls, right? And then
That's
my
right. That's right. And the curly hairs are like,
yeah.
oh, I wish I had, you know, straight hair, right? So we want something that we don't have. And so
Totally.
through this work, I realized that I could actually, for the first time in my life, appreciate and love myself just the way that I am. And
Mm.
that's what I would want from my man too.
Yes.
I wanted him to love me just the way I am, just for me, not because of a facade or because of acting out or pretending someone that I'm not. And then you're in a relationship and you be yourself and you're like,
Right.
that doesn't work, you know?
Yeah.
So I think my intuition was guiding me there because I could feel that this work would allow me to be me. And that's what I needed as my next step. It's like to stop pretending, stop acting, or just showing up in a weak kind of like not powerful kind of way. Like I wanted to be me, but in my full power and my full glory. So I could get to shine as bright as I could.
Right.
You know? So I listened to that voice inside that was like, I need that. I need that so much.
Yeah.
I said yes. Yeah.
And what what I love about that too is like that you talk about the being, right? Because so many times like, women come to me and they're like, well, I did this and I do that and I do this and that, right? But then when I look at it, their being is like, it's so masculine, it's really incongruent, right? And so, you really help women to become more congruent, or the men that you work with, like at least from our program, right? And I know from you helped other men too. But like, to become more congruent and also like to become more alive. Like it's almost like they gain a new passion for life, right? That I've never seen before, right? Um, so yeah, tell us more about how that all relates, because so what I always think, I see so many, oh God, I'm on Facebook all the time, right? And then you see all this like 7-figure business owners, whatever, but they wear dresses where I look at the dress and the dress is like all great, right? But what I love about your work is that, you know, I look at the dress, but I see you, right? So you know what I mean? Like where, you know, you have the actresses and they'll wear this like crazy extravagance dresses, and but you're just kind of like, okay, great dress, I want it too. But like, say more about that, but actually having like a great dress where I can see you.
Well, so yes, thank you for that. That's so good. I'm so
Right?
glad you mentioned that because it's so important. So I tell my clients that we are, you know, I'm just going to speak to you listening right now. You are made of sacred geometry. And based on where you, like what Mother Nature gave you at birth, Mother Nature gave you so many gifts. And she made you perfectly just the way you are, literally. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's really true. Your skin tone works with your eye color, works with your hair color, works with your blush tone, works with your red, you know, like all your personal colors, they work really well together. And then your shapes. Is your face rounded or oval or angular? Is your nose pointy? Like how much contrast do you have? Like all of this makes you, you know, how tall are you? What is your silhouette? All of this makes you in design, right? I call this your design blueprint. And your design blueprint is what it is. It's just the way you're made, right? But the thing is, there's like, based on what that is, what your design is, it makes you fall on a scale. So there's a scale. I'm going to teach it to you right now. It's really important. I call this the approachable versus formal scale. So here we have approachable. A stands for approachable. And here you want to think of Mrs. Santa Claus. And in your system, Antia, that would be, you know, the doormat, the really nice lady. Who's
or the bit,
nice,
yes.
doormat, right? Okay, so this is the extreme of approachability.
Right.
Then we have here a spectrum. Here we're in the middle, and here we are in the formal. And formal, think of Cruella de Vil or Dracula for formal. Okay, so they are intense, their energy, their features are pointy and elongated, their contrast is high, and they're just not pleasant people to be around. We don't want anything to do with them. So yeah, that would be in your system, that would be the bitch or the asshole, right? It's like, so here we have Mrs. Santa Claus, really nice and sweet, the doormat, or the, you know, formal, we have Dracula or Cruella de Vil and the asshole or the bitch, okay? So you fall on that scale somewhere between A and F. Just naturally from your design and also from your energy.
Right.
You know, are you sweet, engaging, outgoing, friendly, or are you kind of more shy and maybe a little bit more restrained and aloof because you're just more containing your own energy and introverted, right? And so based on that, and that's just neither good nor bad, that's just the way you are, right? But understanding what that is and where you fall on that scale will allow you to understand how to do what I quote, what I say, quote, mitigate. Because really what you want is you want to be approachable so people can feel a connection with you. You do want that, but you also want people to respect you. So let's say you're going on a date. Of course, you want to have rapport, you want to have a good relationship, you want to have fun and connect, but you also want to be taken seriously. You want to also be seen as a, you know, you want to be respected. You don't want to be taken advantage of. And unfortunately, a lot of us culturally as women, the tendency for us women is to be the doormat. You know, we learn to not speak up. We learned because maybe sometimes it's not safe to speak up, right? So we just culturally are conditioned to stay quiet. You know, women's are, you know, what is it? Nice. It's like, we're supposed to be nice. There's this little like kid thing. Girls are sugar and spice and everything nice or something like that. You know that one? Anyway, doesn't matter. It's conditioned into us that we have to be nice. And so that makes us vulnerable to be taken advantage of. And sometimes in certain dating, I've heard stories, you know, when women are nice, men think that they can take advantage. They can, you know, grow up inappropriately or make comments or, you know, just be inappropriate. So we don't want that. We want to be able to be nice, but we want to be able to be in our power enough that like the guy isn't going to try anything funny because it's not even an option. Right? And so we have to bring ourselves, if we're here to approachable, we want to bring ourselves to the middle. And we can do that. Right? That's really important.
Yes.
We can do that through what colors are we wearing, what styles, the shapes of our, you know, the silhouette of our garments, the types of fabric. There's so many things we can do. And it's not about being inauthentic to who we are. No, on the contrary, we're more of who we are. But we learn to use, you know, the style and the design and the colors to make ourselves be also respected.
Yes.
That's really important.
It's, and I love how it really, it's so interesting how it's really all about balance. It's really all about coming. I always tell my women to come back into equilibrium, right? Who they authentically are. They want to authentically say no. They sometimes authentically want to be the bitch, right?
Right.
So, again, right? It helps like to have like more of those angular features, you know, in your wardrobe or whatever. Because some people will say like, so now what's my first step, right? Like now, how do I apply this, right? To have like more angular features in your clothing. So what would you say is like, and for me, there was like a total breakthrough because it's just enough that I know it. Like I already feel different wearing outfits that bring me more into the balance. I feel my personal power, or when I wear my power color, I feel there's like a goddess energy coming through me, and it's just weird. I have this one dress every time when I wear it, it's like I'm stepping in my alter ego, right? So just
the good one.
yeah, the good one, the powerful one, right? The influential one. So what would you say is a good next step for the listener, and how can they learn more about the magic? I mean, it's really magic what you create. I don't know how else to explain it.
Thank you.
For me.
Well, so I love that you said, and then I'll speak to that, and then I'll share with you listening how you can find out more. You see, my background is in holistic health. And the reason when I received this work and it totally changed my life, the reason I decided, you know, this is really important. And so many of my colleagues and friends and community, they're struggling unnecessarily because they don't have this piece.
Right.
I mean, I really was like, this is a missing link for so many women.
Right.
Oh my God, I have to bring this to the world. You know, it felt like this calling deep inside of me. And so that's why I studied it. And now I've been, you know, in the very few short years, I've risen very quickly to the top of my field. I mean, I'm so passionate about it, and it is making such a difference. And it's so profound. That's where the magic piece comes in. It's not just the act of, yes, you know, because, you know, you might think, oh yeah, I got my colors done back in the 80s, you know, and
color me
beautiful, and they draped a few drapes on you, and this is not this is so not
at all,
you know. This is like it's like apples and oranges. And I want to speak to this because also what happens is when I do the work, it's like it's a transmission. There's a transmission that happens, and that's why so many women, and well, mostly women, actually cry. We cry, you know, receiving this work, because it's like it's so deep and it's so healing and it's so profound, and it's like a turning point in our lives.
Yeah.
So that's the magic of the work. It's so profound and it's so spiritual in a way, but it is a reclaiming of our power and our femininity in that way, and that's why I do it. And in terms of, you know, how can people find out more about me? So I can share, I have a free gift, a report. Actually, it's a digital swag bag. Yeah, I have, there's 4 gifts in a digital bag. Do you like that? You want that? Okay.
A little pink bow on top.
Yeah, exactly. There's little flowers on it. It's really pretty. Okay, so there's 4 gifts inside. So let me tell you about each gift. So because the colors we wear are either enhancing our beauty and enhancing our credibility and, you know, making us be respected
Yes.
or not. I
Mm-hmm.
created a report that talks about the different colors and how colors that sabotage this context is sales and credibility, but it's the same thing in love, right? It's like if you're wearing the wrong color, it's not going to give you the results. So I have a report that explains that. So it's really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
Because I talk about music and we have a minute. So can I share this so
Yeah,
people can
we do.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So color is vibration, just like music, right? It's another form of vibration. And Antia, what is your favorite music? When you listen to the music, it makes you feel like, relaxed and happy and joyful. And
Oh, I mean, I love relaxed. I would say definitely more like Inya or Sarah McLachlan. So those are,
yeah. So like, it's like a spiritual kind of music. It's harmonious. It's beautiful. And it's like, it's like high vibe. And yeah, cool. Now, what's your worst kind of music you hated? If you listen to it, you're like, oh.
I would say for sure rap and heavy metal.
Yeah, rap and heavy metal. Okay, cool.
I'm like, I'm just like,
you know, it's like nails on a chalkboard. You're like, take it away, take it away. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, exactly. So, so when you wear color that is in harmony with who you are, like what you're actually made of from a pigment perspective, because you could see you have a certain colors, you know, I have colors, right?
Right.
So when you wear the right colors, it's like listening to Anya. It's like being enveloped and bathed into this vibrational embrace of it's like nourishing you, it's supporting you, it's making you feel happy and relaxed and beautiful.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And when you're wearing the wrong colors for you that are not in harmony with who you are at all, it's like listening to heavy metal 24/7.
Yeah.
Right? Energetically, but it's so much more subtle that we don't know this. And of course, we're never taught how to do it. So how would we know? Right? But on your physical system and on your well-being and on your level of confidence and energy and vibrancy overall, it takes you down. It literally just like, imagine listening to heavy metal. You would go crazy. I would go crazy. I'd be like,
no, that's, no.
But it's like that with color. So that first report talks about that and what you can do about it. So go get that report. It's really hot. The second gift is it's an outfit creation play sheet. So, you know, when you have a big event coming up or you have dates coming up and you're like, okay, what am I going to wear? So I created this really cool form where you can plan out your outfit ahead of time. So you don't have to stress about it. You can just know exactly what you're going to wear and you can feel confident. And that way you can just be more relaxed before your date. Super hot, right?
So good. Especially for the first date. You don't want to, the last thing you want to worry about is your outfit. You have so many other things to worry about.
I know. Because you want to be in your queen. You want to be in your power. But if you're frazzled, like trying on 25 dresses and making a big mess in your, no, so you can plan ahead of time.
Great. Oh, so good.
The second gift. The third gift, now this one may not be relevant. This is actually something, it's about if you are a speaker and you are doing speaking gigs, it's how to, there's 10 steps to have more, your speaking gig be more lucrative. So that's just, you can ignore that one if you're not a speaker. But the fourth gift is super, super hot. So you know how we as women love designer items, like the perfect, beautiful, high-end clothing, but a lot of us don't have the budget for that, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So that's one of my specialties. I specialize in helping my clients find designer items at a discount.
Wow.
So these are my best kept secrets I give to my high-end VIP clients. I created this it's like a 6 email series over the course of a week. When you get the free gift, and I'll give you the URL in a moment, you're going to get access to this. Every day you're going to get a few tips, super hot, amazing strategies that I use with all my clients to get designer items at a discount. So that's the fourth gift.
Wow. I mean, you really thought of everything. Like, this is amazing. Makes me want to sign up. I already went.
You should. You totally should. You bet you'll be learning a thing or two.
Yeah, totally. Oh, so delicious.
So can I share the URL?
Yeah, please
Okay.
do.
So the URL, if you go to my name, that's the website, and I'll spell that for you. So it's NATHALIE, C as in cat, HAP as in Paul, RON as in Nancy.com, NathalieChapron.com/swag, like a swag bag. So it's SWAG. NathalieChapron.com/swag. You go to that and you get all the goodies.
You
So
pick it right out. Just for you. Oh, so
that's
good.
right.
Oh, Nathalie, like you gave such a wealth of, information, transformation, magic. I always learn. Like I've done so much work with you. I'm still learning. There's always the next level, because it is what you say. That so much is not tangible. It's a vibration, right? And
Yes.
really, and it's really so important for the listener, because I know that the listener itself, you do have already the power. I'm talking to the listener right now. You do have already the power, but Nathalie really helps you to own it. Because that's what so many of you fall short on, is the owning it. Like so many times it drives me crazy. I see the power and it's like this woman's giving all her power away, right? So it's really going to help you to really step into that. So that's really, go to Nathalie Chapron /swag and get all your gifts right there. And if internally you're struggling with finding the right man, you can also sign up for Find the Right Man discovery session with yours truly. And so where we'll hop on the phone for 60 minutes and break through the blocks and challenges that you might have in attracting the right man. Because it's an inside and an outside game. It really is, right, Nathalie? I mean, that's what we've both seen.
Yeah.
And
I want to speak to the power of your work, Antia, because I've seen people in your tribe, and if you're listening to this podcast and you have any hesitation, like just sign up to talk to Antia. She's amazing, and she's so committed. Like, she's very skillful, number one. She's really talented. She's extremely intuitive, so she can help you kind of zone in on what's happening for you and like how to really dissolve those internal barriers. That it's just a few steps. You're just a few steps away, and she can help you identify what that is, and then she has the tools to support you. So I mean, don't hesitate any longer. If you're just looking for that one, like, she's amazing. You will be in such great hands with her. So just do that. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, Nathalie.
It's true.
Oh, it feels so good. Yeah, so go to howtofindtherightman.com. I forgot the email address. So howtofindtherightman.com to sign up for that 60-minute phone call with me. And it is limited. So you want to get your cutie booty over there rather sooner than later. That spot. And with Nathalie, again, Nathalie Chapron NatalieChapron.com/swag. So we're looking forward for you to pick up all your gifts, to hear about all of your transformations. Nathalie, thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure, always so much fun, wealth of information. And for the listener, I hope you learned a lot. I certainly did. I'm looking forward to hearing you and listening to you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.